Today, we're not just reading a letter. No, we're intercepting a high-stakes mission briefing. I want you to think of this as a commander, the Apostle Paul, laying out a critical operation for his most trusted lieutenant, Titus. The location? The notoriously difficult island of Crete. And the objective? To establish order and appoint leadership deep inside hostile territory.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Before any mission, you've got to know who's giving the orders, and more importantly, why they have the right to give them. Paul spends these first 4 verses laying out that chain of command, making it absolutely clear that this directive, it comes from the highest possible source.
Right out of the gate, Paul identifies himself not with pride, but with a clear purpose. He calls himself a bondservant of God and an apostle of Jesus Christ. He's basically saying, I'm a man under orders, a messenger with a very specific commission. Just picture a weathered, authoritative hand holding a stylus, scratching these very words onto parchment by the flicker of an oil lamp. You can feel the weight of this message from the very first stroke.
Now, look at verse 2. You need to get this. This isn't some new plan that was just cooked up. No, it's rooted in the hope of eternal life, which God, who cannot lie, promised before time began. This is an ancient promise from an authority who is literally incapable of lying. To lock this in your mind, picture a hand reaching out across a vast, dark sky toward a single, distant, solid star, a perfect symbol of an unshakable and ancient hope.
Moving to verse 3, that ancient promise, well, it's not a secret anymore. It has been manifested. It's been brought out into the open through the public proclamation Paul was commanded to deliver. For this, imagine a tightly sealed ancient scroll just dramatically unfurling. And as it does, its words start glowing with this inner light that spreads like sun rays, revealing the entire plan. The secret is officially out.
And in verse 4, we finally meet our recipient, Titus, Paul's true son in our common faith. You see, this isn't just an order from a general to a soldier. This is a deeply personal charge from a mentor to his protege. The visual is simple but powerful. A close-up of that finished letter being passed from an older, scarred hand to a younger, capable one. The authority is established, the mission is being handed off.
All right, with the authority rock solid, we get to the core directive. What exactly is Titus supposed to do on this incredibly challenging assignment in Crete? Well, Paul makes it crystal clear.
Verse 5 lays out this crucial 2-part objective. First, set in order the things that are lacking. And second, appoint elders in every city. So this is all about bringing structure to chaos and establishing a leadership model that can last. Picture a completely chaotic, messy room. I mean, papers everywhere, furniture flipped over, and then watch as a single, focused individual methodically brings it into perfect, functional order. That's Titus's job.
So here's the million-dollar question. Who qualifies for this kind of leadership role? You can't just pick anybody, right? And what Paul lays out next isn't just a list of suggestions, it's a revolutionary leadership profile. See, in a Roman world that was all about power, wealth, and status, this blueprint focuses on something totally different: character. This is the non-negotiable guide Titus has to follow.
He starts in verse 6 with this one powerful word, blameless. Now, this doesn't mean sinless perfection. Nobody's perfect. It means a reputation that is above reproach. It means there are no legitimate standing accusations that can stick to this person's character. Just imagine a clean, polished shield reflecting light with absolutely no dents, no tarnish. It's unassailable.
Still in verse 6, the blueprint moves from their public reputation right into their private home. The husband of one wife, having faithful children. And the logic here is just simple common sense. If a man can't lead his own family well, how on earth can he be trusted to lead the family of God? The visual for this is a huge, sturdy oak tree with deep, strong roots and healthy branches. It represents a household that's stable, loyal, and well-managed.
Then verse 7 gives us the do not list, the immediate disqualifiers. A leader cannot be self-willed, stubbornly pushing their own agenda. They can't be quick-tempered, easily provoked to anger. They can't be given to too much wine or be violent. And finally, they cannot be greedy for money. Every single one of these is a character flaw that just destroys trust and undermines influence. So for this picture, a series of big red X's appearing over these images. A clenched fist, a shattered wine cup, and a grasping hand reaching for a pile of coins.
Then, verse 8 flips the script and gives us the positive qualifications. An elder must be hospitable, a lover of good, sensible, just, holy, and self-controlled.
Think of a warm, open doorway, inviting people in. Then picture a perfectly balanced scale, symbolizing fairness and justice. These are the positive traits, and they are not optional.
But all those amazing character traits are built on one final, absolutely non-negotiable foundation. Verse 9 gives us the most critical qualification of all. This leader has to be anchored to the truth, holding fast the faithful word. And why is that so important? So he can do two things: encourage the faithful and correct those who oppose the truth. Imagine a leader standing firm on a solid rock foundation, holding a book that acts as both a protective shield and a sharp, precise sword.
So you might be asking yourself, man, why is Paul being so incredibly specific about all this? Why is his leadership blueprint so vital for this mission in Crete? Well, it's because Titus isn't just building something new in a vacuum. He's fighting against an active, corrupting influence that's already on the ground.
And now we get the threat assessment. Paul outlines the opposition in no uncertain terms. This mission, you see, it isn't just about building up. It's about identifying and pushing back against a very specific internal threat that is trying to undermine the whole operation from the inside. Verse 10 identifies the enemy. Many insubordinate, both idle talkers and deceivers. Now, these aren't opponents from the outside. These are insiders who are causing chaos. Picture a group of shadowy figures whose mouths aren't speaking words, but are just spewing this chaotic, tangled, meaningless static that confuses everyone around them.
And verse 11 reveals the damage they're causing and their motive. Their mouths must be stopped because they subvert whole households, all for dishonest gain. Their teaching is a poison. For this, imagine thorny, twisted vines growing out of a speaker's mouth, wrapping themselves around a family home, and literally cracking its foundation.
Now, this is pretty wild. In verse 12, Paul actually quotes one of their own local prophets to describe the cultural landscape Titus is working in. Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, lazy gluttons. Now, this isn't just a random insult. It's a strategic assessment of the default cultural mindset that he's up against. The visual here is a figure with two faces, one smiling pleasantly to the front, while a snarling, monstrous face is visible from the side.
So what's the counter strategy? What's the move? Verse 13 is direct. It's unambiguous. Therefore, rebuke them sharply. The command is simply to confront. This isn't a suggestion, it is a direct order. Picture a leader standing firm, speaking with calm authority, as a bright, clean light just pours from their words, physically pushing back these encroaching dark shadows.
Verse 14 clarifies what the faithful should ignore. He's warning them not to get distracted by man-made rules and myths that just lead people away from the truth. So imagine a person standing at a fork in the road. One path is this confusing, tangled, messy roadmap that clearly leads nowhere. They ignore it, and instead, they choose to follow a single, straight, brightly lit path.
Verse 15 gives us the principle underneath it all. To the pure, all things are pure, but to those who are defiled, nothing is pure. What Paul is saying is that the problem isn't external things. It's the internal state of a person's heart and mind. The perfect visual for this is a simple contrast. One glass of crystal clear, pure water right next to a glass of dark, swirling, muddy water. It's what's on the inside that corrupts the outside.
And verse 16 delivers the final, devastating assessment of the opposition. They talk the talk, but their actions completely betray them. They profess to know God, but in works they deny Him. This is the ultimate hypocrisy. To picture this, see a person dressed in pristine white robes, admiring their own reflection in a mirror, but their shadow, cast on the wall behind them, isn't human. It's a twisted, monstrous figure. Their true nature is revealed by what they do, not by what they say.
And all of that leaves us with the central challenge of this briefing, and it's just as relevant today as it was back in Crete. The mission was to establish leaders who were founded on truth in order to combat deceptive noise. So the question for us is really the same. In a world that is filled with idle talkers and deceivers, what faithful word, what solid foundation are you building your own life on?